Dear viewers, this is not just another highway death story. This is the story of how a 49-year-old woman named Chhaya Purav, alive, conscious, and in pain, was killed not by an accident alone, but by combined negligence of our roads, our hospitals, and our system. Killed by a highway that eats time, killed by a district that doesn't have a well equipped trauma center, killed by a government that talks about development but can't save a life in 2025. And here is the part that will haunt you. Doctors told her husband she could have been saved if they had reached just 30 minutes earlier. 30 minutes, that's the gap between life and death, and our infrastructure couldn't even give her that. Hello, I'm Tejas and you're watching Honest Take on Lokmat Times. In today's video, we break down what happened with Chhaya and how her death is not an unfortunate incident but a murder by neglect. But before we move ahead, please do subscribe to our channel if you haven't already and press the bell icon to never miss an update. It was July 31st, 2025. Chhaya Purav was doing something routine, supervising road cleaning work near her home in Saphale's Madhukar Nagar, Palghar district. She had no idea that in a matter of a few seconds, her life would turn upside down. A tree branch snapped. It fell on her. Not just a bruise or a cut, it crushed her with force. She suffered skull fractures, multiple rib fractures, shoulder injuries, severe head trauma. The local hospital in Palghar took one look and knew they couldn't save her there because Palghar district, with a population of over 3 million, doesn't have a single fully equipped trauma center. So the decision was made: shift her to Mumbai. The closest hospital capable of handling such trauma, Hinduja Hospital, roughly 100 kilometers away. A journey that on paper takes 2.5 hours, but paper doesn't know NH-48. August 2nd, 2025, the ambulance leaves Saphale at around 3 pm. Chhaya is in the back under anesthesia to help her bear the pain. Her husband Kaushik is next to her, watching the monitors, watching the road, watching the clock. The driver hits NH-48 and the nightmare begins. Gridlock. Not the kind where you honk and crawl, the kind where you don't move at all. Why? Because NH-48 is a construction site masquerading as highway. Because wrong side driving has turned the road into chaos. Because potholes big enough to crack bones are waiting every few meters. It takes over 3 hours for them to cover just half the distance. 3 hours of slow torture in a box on wheels. 3 hours for the anesthesia to start wearing off. And then the screaming starts. Kaushik tells it best. She was screaming in pain and crying. She begged to me to take her to a hospital at the earliest. The road was full of potholes and each bump made her pain worse. Imagine that. You are next to the person you love most. You can see them fighting for every breath. You can see them break, and all you can do is sit there. Because the road won't let you pass. There was no emergency lane, no police escort, no coordinated traffic clearance, just a line of vehicles, stuck, swearing, sweating, as someone's life ticked away. By 6 pm, they had only reached Virar, still far from Mumbai. Kaushik makes a desperate call. Skip Hinduja, head for the nearest hospital. It's 7 pm when they finally reach Orbit Hospital in Mira Road. Too late. Doctors look at her, look at him, and say the words that will never leave him. She could have been saved if you had reached just 30 minutes earlier. Let's be clear, the branch may have injured Chhaya, but what killed her were 3 things. First, no trauma care center in Palghar. District this big, this populated with industries, highways and daily accidents, and still not one advanced trauma facility that could handle head injuries and multiple fractures. Second, a death trap called NH-48. This Mumbai-Ahmedabad highway is a lifeline for trade, travel and emergencies. But in reality, it's been under white-topping construction for nearly 2 years. Rupees 553 crores spent, yet 65 kilometers still incomplete. Potholes, poor materials and delayed work everywhere. Over 30 people dead on this stretch in the first half of 2025 alone. And third, traffic management failure. Where were the emergency protocols? Where was the police clearance for an ambulance? Where were the diversions to ensure one life could be saved? Here is the thing, Chhaya's case is not unique. For years, NH-48 has been claiming lives. Locals call it a death trap, not just because of accidents, but because ambulances can't move. From 2023 to now, multiple reports, protests and videos have shown exactly what is wrong. and exactly what could have been fixed. But somehow, every agency, NHAI, the PWD, traffic police, contractors, they all have managed to pass the blame like a hot potato. We love to talk about development, expressways, metro lines, billion rupee projects, but what's the point if a woman can't reach a hospital in time? What's the point if 100 kilometers turn into 4 hours? What's the point if the basic right to emergency care is treated like a luxury? This isn't just about Chhaya. It's about every single person who might need an ambulance tomorrow on NH-48. It's about every district that depends on Mumbai for serious medical care. It's about every government promise that sounds good in speeches but dies on the road. So, who is responsible for this? NHAI for letting construction drag on and quality slip, traffic authorities for having no emergency clearance system, state government for not building a trauma center in Palghar despite knowing the need, and contractors for pocketing crores and delivering potholes. And yet, will anyone lose their job? Will anyone be charged for criminal negligence? Or will we just wait for the next unfortunate incident? If we don't want more Chhayas, here is what must happen. Well-equipped trauma center in Palghar. Now, not in the next plan. NH-48 repair and completion on war footing, not in election season. Permanent emergency lanes on all major highways. Traffic police training for medical emergencies. Accountability law that treats such delays as culpable homicide, because human life cannot be an afterthought in infrastructure development. Chhaya Purav's name will be forgotten in a few weeks. Her husband will go home to an empty chair at dinner. Her children will carry her absence like a shadow, and NH-48 will still have potholes. Unless we decide that one death like this is already too many, we can keep calling it bad luck and traffic problem, or we can call it what it really is, a system that kills by delay. Chhaya could have been saved. That's the truth. And the most shameful part, we already know how to prevent the next one. We just don't care enough to do it. That's all for today's Honest Take with me, Tejas. Until next time, stay sharp, stay curious, and never stop asking tough questions.